But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by Neil, Jin, and a whole bunch of people in the Flipside Discord server, so welcome one and all.
How are you?
How you doing, everybody? Especially those guys in the Flipside there. Wicked.
Good morning. I just want to say I really, really like that theme song. It would be nice to just have a bed of the music quietly in the background, you know, for like a minute after you start, just to kind of ease into the show. It's just, I love it.
Oh, well, I'm pleased to hear it. It's If Earth Was a Big Roast Chicken by One Deck, or DJ One Deck specifically, as that's the name he goes by when he makes the music. So we just call him One Deck, but DJ One Deck. And yeah, that's now been adapted to be the 30-second or so intro that I use daily with the video that was made by Len. So thank you very much to Len and DJ One Deck for essentially collaborating to produce the new Flat Earth debate introduction. And it's ahead of schedule. I was expecting it to be done by like 1st of Jan, like I'd be releasing it for the new year, but actually it was done a lot quicker than I was expecting. So, I mean, as it's there, I might as well use it, but it's what I've labelled on the introduction to it as it was being produced as the 2026 Flat Earth debate intro. But obviously we're not quite in 2026, if I could say it, as yet. But I'm glad you're showing it some love, because I really like it. It's one of those that da-da-dun, 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 as it used to be. I wanted it to be like a news report as the debate progressed. And now I don't want it to be like I don't want the show to be like a news report on Flat Earth debate anymore. The namesake of the show is there because it's a continuation of what we've been doing for the last 10 years. But ultimately speaking, there is no debate, and I want the relaxed, upbeat, friendly, happy-go-lucky intro to be what kind of attitude of the show moving forward. It's not that serious. Earth's just measured flat, and you can talk about it being a ball, but it's like talking about it as if though it was a big roast chicken. So in my opinion, the absurdity of talking about if Earth was a ball in 2026 is ludicrous and is not worth mentioning every single show, but if it's in the intro, I don't have to.
Speaking of roast chicken, did I hear right when 10th Man was doing his presentation with AI that he literally got AI to say that, yes, you could have the Earth mathematically turned into a roast chicken?
That's correct. That's where he was intentionally trying to lead it. So he was gently, softly catch the AI monkey, because he wanted to lead into, if Earth was a big roast chicken, we could mathematically calculate that from the flat plane that we also measure to achieve the ball. That's his overarching premise that he wanted to achieve, because he's like me. Underneath it all, if there's a pun, right, he will fight tooth and nail to get there. And in this instance, he wanted that joke, right, from the off. I just know that mentality, right? It's my mentality, right? If there's a joke, you'll wait an hour to get it in if you see the right moment, and it's going to come eventually. And that's what he was doing. He wanted to get the AI to say, yeah, well, once we've measured Earth flat, Earth could be a big roast chicken.
That's why he's the king of pun.
It's 10th Man. I've put that into a playlist at his request. So all 4 of the episodes, 10th Man versus AI, or 10th Man versus Perplexity AI, or Perplexity AI versus 10th Man, are now in a 4-part playlist. So you can see the live streams back to back. And I intentionally, because I didn't want to do any editing work, kept it quite concise. That is to say, there was tops 5 minutes of us saying hello at the beginning of the show, and then we were straight into it each day we did the covering of him, interacting with AI. So as a playlist, the live shows are perfectly satisfactory in that regard. The uncut and after shows have got all the waffle and warm up and things that aren't related to 10th Man's back and forth with AI. And we were rehearsed to a certain degree. He'd presented it to me, and I had gone through it. Obviously, I hadn't read it word for word and analysed every bit of the data. But when you're doing it and producing it as 10th Man did, he knows it inside out, back to front, for him to go through it. But he just needed to draw my attention to particular key points, more specifically the outro song. And I obviously reacted on the fly as we went through it. But I had scanned through it, so I did kind of know what was coming. And from that perspective, you could say we were rehearsed in that. Like when we cover these videos that we do on a almost daily basis sometimes, but like we'll be covering in a minute with AsmonGold, I often haven't responded to them or read them, watched them, whatever it is that we're responding or reacting to, like text or a video or whatever. It's normally just completely fresh. Now, in the case of AsmonGold, somebody pointed out after we'd done it, you do realise we'd already reacted to this, and I was like, no, I couldn't remember reacting to it. But what we're going to do, because undoubtedly I'd have done it at about the similar pace. In other words, what we did yesterday was probably very similar to what was done 12 months ago. But today, what we'll do is slightly different. We're going to have the panel do the reaction more than myself. So I'll be presenting it to Adam, Arthur, Jin and Neil, and we'll be hopefully getting their reactions as opposed to mine, so that we can see, where they're at in terms of the reaction. And I'll obviously play the video so that you can see it running during the show, but I'll try as much as I can within my limitations to not respond to it and just leave the panel to do all the reaction work to it. So we only got about 7 minutes-ish into the video yesterday, about here-ish from memory. 9 minutes. Oh, we didn't do too badly then. We'll start about here-ish, and like I say, I'll let the panel do their response, and we'll go from there. Anything anybody wants to add before I do actually start playing? Clearly not. Okay, well, I'll do my...
Let's get it on.
Well, I'll do my call to action, as you weren't quick enough on the uptake. So this video is the same video we were responding to yesterday, which is AsmonGold, actually AsmonGold TV, and it's got no capital G. Have I spelt it right? ASMON. I think I spelt his name correctly yesterday. If I haven't, it's tough. It'll stay like it because I've just got no time to change these things now. But anyway, if you're in the audience, and I will put this up on screen so you can see what I'm doing, please go to AsmonGold TV and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that alludes to the fact that we have responded to his video. And I say we because, as I say, it'll be the panel that are actually doing it today as opposed to me predominantly doing it yesterday. There were a couple of odds and sods that the panel added here and there, but for the most part it was me yesterday. So let AsmonGold know the Flat Earth debate panel sent you. Although, no, don't just say Nathan Oakley 1980, with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube algorithmic bots, or indeed from the videographer, that's AsmonGold himself. So just politely point out that we've been responding to this video, and we're taking our time with it. That is to say, if we're going to work our way through all of it if necessary. So that's it. Hopefully, if you're in the audience now, you will actually pop along to AsmonGold TV. I'm not saying it for my health. I am actually encouraging you to do it, which is why I'm repeating myself several times, so that when you get back from popping to this video that's linked in the live stream chat, I assume if you're in the vertical stream, you can also just click on that link and it will divert you to AsmonGold TV's video. But however you press the back button on your phone when you come back from the vertical stream, just, obviously come back. But I do want you to leave a comment for him. Now, it's not like in this instance, AsmonGold TV needs our help or assistance. I'm, by comparison, absolutely tiny. But everybody loves getting comments. Everybody loves interaction, regardless of how limited it might be that I can offer by comparison to his typical audience base. But yeah, please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. The idea of doing this is that should AsmonGold respond to me, has had 12 months and we've already covered him, and as far as I'm aware he hasn't, but maybe reiterating it for a second time might be successful. The hope is that as a fellow YouTuber, he'll tip his cap to me and go, no worries, I'll put a link to your video, like he's probably done with whatever her name is, Sabine Hosselenfelder. And that would be the courtesy that I would hope to get. Now, given that I'm calling him a dirty grebo in yesterday's video, he might not like me. Tough crap, don't stereotype me and you won't get me calling you a dirty grebo. But in any event, with any YouTube videographer that we respond to, I would hope that they would put my link in their video if they were to do a response to us. That's the whole point of me sending the love their way, because obviously we're the one in reality that needs the love, not them, most times out of 10. Go ahead, whoever keeps interrupting me.
Not if that's the freaking title to his video. Why Flat Earth is scam me? Oh boy.
It's projection. The fear is coming from the person he's actually responding to. It's rubbing off on him. So Hosselenfeld is scared of us. That's what I take from that title. It's a bit like in the pre-show when Surf Daddy's talking about what's the guy's name? Forgotten the bloody guy's name.
Danny Faulkner.
Danny Faulkner. Well, Danny Faulkner said in response to when someone asked him, well, what about your measurements of a flat earth that you're utilising? To give you a brief summary of the discussion, his response was, get Nathan Oakley out of your head. How very telling. You mean Nathan Oakley's in Danny Faulkner's head? Now, I know I am. Mainly because somebody who has given me a substantial amount of money about 9 months ago, maybe less, when my wife was in a crap ton of credit card debt, I actually gave most of it to her. But because we homeschool our kids, we spend a lot of money that we haven't got. And this person came along and gave me a chunk of money when I'm scratching around trying to flog headphones for a few quid here and there to make my ends meet, not my wife's, I might add. And he was giving me this money because he wants to build a good relationship with me, so I'll debate Danny Faulkner. That's what he wants, right? Now, he's contributed, I won't name the individual because I haven't asked if he wants me to do that, but he's donated a considerable sum to Danny Faulkner's cause over the years. And Danny Faulkner, for the most part, as much as we all get a bit venomous when we talk about him, I don't know what it is about him. I actually quite like the guy. I don't know what it is about him. Maybe it's just because he's extremely measured. To me, when you're that measured, it's not that you're trying to bullshit, but you're trying to avoid sounding stupid while you do, which to a certain degree I can respect, having been a bullshitter. You know what I mean? So there's something about Danny Faulkner that I do like. So if the guy achieves his ends, which is convincing him to actually sit down and have a discussion with me, number one, I'd hope that Danny would realise that I would be taking it easy on him, as I did when he debated not Righteous Force.
Refracted curvature and Adam.
Right. When he was debating refracted curvature, I kept it civil, told everyone to shut up when he took 50 seconds to gather his thoughts each time, and I made sure that that was allowed and tolerated. Now, normally, that's like sacrosanct, no dead air. But in that instance, no, there's an exception to almost every rule. In this case, we were making a live show, we can't have dead air in the middle of it, people will tune out. No, if you need that, and you're prepared and willing to debate with refracted curvature, I'll extend that courtesy. Why would I not allow him to have 50 seconds to think about his thoughts? There's a lot on the line for him, and I appreciate that. Now, what I want him to hopefully hear in my most recent rhetoric, and indeed this has been echoed throughout the Flat Earth debate community, if you can call it that, is that it's not that serious. Don't worry about it. It's just measured flat to achieve the ball that we all believed in. If you want to put that spin at the end, which I say isn't necessary, but for him, he's my opponent on the ball, I can't but help introduce it if I'm going to talk about how the discussion will inevitably go. If my contributor is successful in convincing Danny to talk to me. Now, even when he was there talking to Refracted Curvature, he didn't want to talk to me. And when he's interacting with others who are passing on the regards in terms of Earth being measured flat, his response is, get Nathan out of your head. Like, no, Danny, don't project, right? I don't need to be in your head. And an understanding of how Earth measured is something that I'm maybe suggesting that you know already. I don't know. I don't want to be too presumptive. But it isn't that serious. You don't need to fear me. You know, I don't need to be in your head. You're not in mine. I mean, occasionally when someone gives me $1,000, then, yeah, I'm going to be paying a close attention to that person's rhetoric when they're like, we want you to talk to this man. I'm on his side. I've given him a huge sum of money up until now. I'm like, okay, that's got my attention. And it's good in a way because I'd rather it be you than the rumpus or somebody like that. You know, somebody respectful who's not all sweary and wants to talk over everybody. I'd rather you were the other end of the scale. So if Danny's out there listening, it's like, why don't you just chat to me? Somebody who's given, from my understanding, a substantial sum of money to you wants you to talk to me. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. It's not going to cost me anything. Chances are we'll both make money from it. This person wants to give us money. Now, I don't know why. I'm very grateful. I'm extremely poor and begging AsmonGold to give me credit when he hopefully probably won't react. Well, you're being contributed to and one of your contributors wants you to talk to me. Why not? What's the harm? It's not that serious. Earth's just measured flat. Anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty telling, though. You going to start the video?
Well, no, I was just going to try and link it back to AsmonGold.
I want to touch on something myself, as I've been waiting to speak here. Just touching on the title, and AsmonGold, is it Asmon Silver, who's saying that he's being scammed. Well, did he lose revenue from the flat earthers? And isn't it not the taxpayers around the world hang on, isn't it not the taxpayers around the world that are losing their tax money to the space agencies like NASA, for example? 2023, the height of their money they received was $18 million a day from a $29 billion, $200 million budget, down 18% this year to 18 point something billion this year alone. That's a massive scam. There's your scamming going on. Flat earthers don't scam people. I think that's disgusting what I heard there. Thank you.
Good morning, guys.
Morning. Is that Chocolate? Good to have you.
Yo, what's going on?
Well, what's going on? Welcome, Chocolate. We were just talking about how NASA's scamming everyone else, but somehow flat earthers are the biggest scammers, apparently. Honestly, what a joke.
Wait, NASA's a scam? Hold up. Really? I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, flat earthers are scammers. Really? I'd like to know how much money he lost. This would be AsmonGold. How much money did he actually lose to a flat earther?
Well, he's a gamer, isn't he? So he's probably Asmon Platinum in many titles. You'd have to be a gamer. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Asmon Brown stuff. That's what he is. Brown stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't want to have. I don't want to be pouring scorn on AsmonGold, right? This is just a normie. Now he might be quite rich. He's got a crap ton of subscribers, so I'm sure he's making a sweet fortune out of YouTube at 4.2 or 4.23 million subscribers. Fantastic. But by the same token, it's like he's just representing a normie, and the normie is fed Sabine Hoslenfelder videos so that they can form opinion on what flat Earth is. Now, in the pre-show, you, Jin, were being essentially told off. You didn't pick up on it. Maybe you did because you kept interrupting. But about your need to introduce conspiratorial elements to a stone-cold fact that you've won with. For example, measuring Earth flat in Antarctica. Followed up by you saying, well, they'd been faking it for ages. You're like, my God, you were doing so well. Now you've got the ammunition given to next man to say, this conspiratard said that he thought they would fake the 24-hour sun down there, ignoring your winning point. So it's a case of when AsmonGold's responding to Sabine Hoslenfelder, her entire shtick about us is our conspiratorial elements that we've all been brought to the forum with. If we could have only kept our mouths shut about JFK, 9/11, Sandy Hook, in this case, faking 24-hour suns in Antarctica, we wouldn't have the ammunition for them to respond to. When there's a question put to somebody, if it's compound, that means there's two questions formed into one, they will take the easier section of the compound question in favour of the harder one, and potentially completely ignore the harder section of the compound question. So if your compound statement, in this case, tallied on with a question, is that Earth is measured flat with elevation angles in Antarctica, stop there. That's the end of your statement of fact, because just leave your opponent to deal with that, rather than, and I always knew they'd fake the 24 hours. Oh my God, what do you think they're going to say? They didn't fake the 24 hours in Antarctica. Let's debate.
Yeah, okay, fine. I've got material to debate them with anyway. But my point is, AsmonGold is pouring garbage out of his mouth on flat earthers. Now, you might think that's okay because you want to get on with him. I don't want to get on with him. I do me, you do you. He's going to get my wrath because he's lying against flat earthers. And he's agreeing with, is it her name? Sabrina? He's agreeing with her. Sabina, whatever her name is. He's agreeing. He's nodding with her. He's agreeing. You stated it yourself yesterday. I'm going to pour a lot of scone on that guy. A lot. He's going to bury him with scone. Scone.
This guy
Scone.
pissing off.
But Jin, I guess the point is what Nathan was trying to say is that is the very foundational basis for their stereotyping fallacy, because we have to acknowledge there are people out there with the label of flat earth, calling themselves flat earthers, who are actually spewing feast of nonsense bullshit.
Yeah, well, I don't do that. Thank you.
Fine. Right, let's get on with it.
Of the
That's the point.
first,
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. I hate to agree with Flat Earther when he's also telling you off, Jin. And I don't want to make you the whipping boy. You
Actually,
aren't.
I don't do that. Okay? I'm telling you now live on your show. I don't do that. So, Mr. Arthur, Nathan, I don't talk shit. All right?
No,
All
I'm not
right?
saying-
I don't.
no. Don't take this the wrong
Thank
way.
you.
Right.
I'm taking it that way. I don't talk shit when it comes to flat
I'm not
earth.
saying you do.
I bury them.
I'm not saying
No, I
you do.
don't.
Right.
All right. Well, then
try not
don't
to
even
take-
imply it. Don't even imply it. Thank you.
No, we're not implying it either. We're saying statement of fact in terms of if you offer 2 points simultaneously, your opponent will take the easier of the two. And we gave an
I'll
example
smack
where...
them with both of them anyway. I'll do them with both. The easy road and the hard road. They get it all. With me, I leave them no stone unturned. So don't ever say I do BS, because I don't do BS
It's not.
with flat earth.
We're not.
If you
Okay,
speak-
You're
if you
interrupting me
speak
telling me not to
it's
say
bullshit.
something that I haven't said. I'm not saying you talk shit. I'm saying that if
Okay.
you offer a compound statement, your opponent will take the easier of the two. And in this case, the easier of the two is to say they didn't fake a 24-hour sun, meaning that they measured Earth flat bit can be ignored. Third time, Jin. Can we move on and just cover the video?
Yeah, I'll never let them go with that, because they're still going to come round to learn that Earth is measured flat. I'm going to bury them. That's what I do. Thank you. I might take the long way round. It's for me to do that, so the punishment is even worse for them. Thank you. Let's get on with it now.
Oh no, there's going to be other people who want to potentially respond to that, but if not, we will. Anybody want to respond? This is a very interesting point, and obviously Jin disagrees. I'm going to stand my ground, as is he, which is good.
You can't say you don't,
get
but
on
then
with the
bring up
video.
feast of nonsense. It just contradicts what you're saying.
That
You tell us you talk
absolutely-
about it. You told me about the ice wall about 20 minutes ago.
But that's me and
absolutely
you
true.
talking. That's not to the Globers as such. Don't mention that to them, do I? I hit them with facts. I don't hit them with speculation or theories. No one can use that. Thanks.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you don't know me again.
I'll done
That's
chocolate.
all it is.
I'll done Jin. Go ahead, chocolate.
I was just gonna say, Nathan's point absolutely stands. If you do give them 2 points, yeah, they're going to take the lesser of the points and completely ignore the other one. The one that they can't answer, the one that they can't respond to, they're gonna ignore that. We've heard that. They've done that for years. That's how they do. I didn't hear anybody saying you talk shit, Jen. I don't know. Maybe I just got here. I don't know. I didn't hear that, but I don't know why you're wilding out.
Well, it sounded like a piece of nonsense. I don't give them any nonsense at all. And if they think that, they get punished anyway, because I cover all angles. I drag them back to the main point. They never escape my eyes, ever, or my ears.
Ice Wall.
That's what I do with it, brothers.
Ice Wall is feast of nonsense. You just had that put to you by Neil.
That was me and Neil talking. I don't talk about that to the Globers. Did you not hear me say that? That was me and Neil talking in the pre-show, just me and Neil. I don't talk about ice walls to the Globers. It's a speculation. It's not something that I can prove. So I don't talk to that.
By analogy, hold on, let me just have this out with Jin. It doesn't matter who's at the table when you're scoffing the feast of nonsense, right?
We're just having a discussion here, aren't we? Speculating, me and Neil. It's just speculation here. That's all that is. Can't prove nothing. But when it comes to discussing with the Globers, I don't discuss that with the Globers. So again, but don't go down that road.
Sure, Jin,
there's no need for it.
Jin, you've got to appreciate that because you've discussed it with Neil, right? Now, Neil is a bit of a spiller in this regard, right? It's now spilled into the live show, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it was a speculation between me and Neil. Speculation.
Yes,
when I'm with the Globers and the Globers are listening to this live stream, they know who I am. Do you ever hear me talking about the ice wall to you idiots out there? No, I don't.
Right.
Do I?
But when somebody now comes and encounters you in a Discord server when we're not live, right, there's a good chance that they'll say, hey, Jin, about that ice wall.
Yeah, and then we'll deal with it there and then, won't we?
But the feast of nonsense that you don't deal with, the feast of nonsense you categorically said you don't deal with, that you've said you won't talk about because you don't talk shit. You do.
Yeah, I don't.
Jin, I'm talking. Jin, please.
Yeah, you're still misrepresenting my position.
I'm not.
That's what you're doing. You are.
And
you're just now talking through me rather than letting me finish my sentence, Jin. Thank you. You do talk feast of nonsense. That is feast of nonsense. You are talking it. You just don't like us pointing it out as nonsense. Ice walls, domes, this is nonsense that we're introduced in the Flat Earth arena as conspiratards with, so that the general populace doesn't have to address the difficult bit.
I 99.99% of the time do not talk about it. Today we happen to mention the ice wall with Neil today in a very rare occasion.
That's fine.
So I don't talk about ice walls and domes and stuff. I usually say container. You never hear me say dome.
Fine.
So no, man, I'm not going
take
to
it
accept
personally,
it.
Jin.
And that's that.
Jin,
sorry.
You're taking it too personally, like this is an attack on you. It's not.
Well, it does seem like it.
Chill.
Can we now move on?
Jin, please. Jin.
Well, let's move on anyway, Nathan.
I run the show, Jin. Thank you. I'll move on when the fuck I choose to.
You get my wrath then. That's how it's going to be.
You're talking through me consistently. You know, you've done it for the last 2 straight minutes. Thank you, Jin. You do talk feast and nonsense. It will be used as an opportunity by our opponents to avoid the awful fact we measure Earth flat. It's not a personal attack on you. You are, however, representative of other people who do it the same. Now, you can say, well, you're directly pointing it to me. Yeah, we are. But it's not because I want to have a go at Jin. When you say, I don't know you, you're right, I don't know you that well. And I don't desire annoying you, making you annoyed about us, suggesting that you talk shit. That is not the desired outcome. The desired outcome is to use you as a representative of other people who do the same. Now, if you're going to yammer through me, talking me down, going, no, don't do that, I don't do... there's examples. Just own it. But it doesn't mean I want to have a go at you as an individual when you're used as the example. Just try not to take it too personally.
I'm not going to own it, and I do take it personally.
Fair enough.
The fact that you separate it, right? That you know that you'll talk about something like that with Neil, but you wouldn't talk about it with the Glovers, means you understand exactly what he means, right? You understand that is feast and nonsense. Now, that's just the name we call that shit, right? Us here at PD, that's what we call it. But you understand the separation. That's why you will say that you will talk about it with Neil, but you won't talk about it with the Glovers. That's fine. Correct. That's all he's pointing out to you. He's not saying that you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. He's just saying that that's what you're doing, and you recognize it because you separate.
And it's valuable, very valuable. Maybe you don't realize how valuable you being Eugene is in this instance. The fact that we can have this discussion for an audience is so valuable. And I know for a fact you don't get that yet. You don't appreciate how valuable you are to this panel currently. how you represent and what you represent. But if you take it personally each time and talk through me while I'm trying to make a point to an audience, it's just going to get really, difficult to communicate that value to the audience in that moment. Now, I know you don't like it because you're like, well, I don't want to be the example of the guy that talks the, quote, feast of nonsense. I don't want to be that guy. I'm sorry, but you are. That's just how it is.
But I'm not at the end of the day. But I'm not, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not that guy. Okay? Thank you. I'll never be that guy. I'll be the guy that will remind you of that every time you try and do that. Don't ever label me as that. Don't even go.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Time out. You were just telling me the other day. Now, I don't know if you told ballers, but you talk about Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
That other movie with Stephen King. What is it? The Shining.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick. Both movies are.
And JFK. You were just telling me a whole bunch of stuff about that the other day. You don't share that?
Oh, I share that with the Globers when they bring up moon landing hoax, and then I give them information that is out there as fact. Stanley Kubrick took part in the moon landing. I said we don't have to do that now, but if you want, I can.
No,
I've got the material.
We're going to carry on with this, and we'll respond to AsmonGold. We've done half an hour, so
yeah. Thank you. Right, exactly.
And I do feel like you feel like you're having too many jabs now, Neil's. It's not quite a low blow. Go ahead, whoever that was.
It doesn't matter. I can take the blows and dish it out just as much, and you'll all have nosebleeds and limps when I finish with you. Try me.
Go ahead, Surf Daddy. Go ahead, Surf Daddy. Oh, Surf Daddy, can you go on mute? I think you've just taken yourself off mute accidentally.
I'm getting there. Hold on.
No worries. I just can't continue with you off mute. Anyway. Right, I'll close the Discord line while Surf Daddy sorts himself out. Unless you wanted to add something, Surf Daddy.
No, well, I try to look for it. I think that
somebody's server muted him. Maybe it's because he doesn't realise he's talking to us. Okay, right, let's crack on with AsmonGold. If I can find there we go.
Symptom of a much.
One extraordinary night.
You know it.
An orphan.
As soon as we start, we get an ad. How wonderful.
Take. To me, flat earthers are the first symptom.
Can you believe somebody right there?
Anybody got any idea what he's laughing about? I don't.
You know where they learn about science? Looney Tunes, man.
Yeah, he was laughing about the first statement.
Learned about science in your class.
Yeah, some kind of symptom that we've got. We've got some kind of illness.
You're saying we learned about science in a Looney Tunes class?
Yeah, Looney Tunes cartoon. That's where he's saying we learn our science from.
Yeah, there's a few other people saying that on servers. I think Gem Panda's one of them. That you've obviously we've all been through some childhood trauma or something devastating happened to us when we were younger, and that's the reason that we believe in a flat Earth. So this is how low they go.
They're watching the Looney Tunes and they're like, "Damn, I think I know how the Earth happened. I think I know where the dinosaurs went." Oh my God.
I think it's a mistake.
What?
To me, flat earthers are the first symptom of a much bigger problem. They show us what happens when people realize they can't understand modern science, don't trust scientists, and therefore throw out even the most basic scientific knowledge.
We're talking about the measurements of Earth, and I don't know how she's talking about science. I think she's in a category error right now.
Yeah, they depicted us with a bunch of tinfoil hats on.
Big science.
Neil, then Adam.
She thinks that modern science trumps basic science, like the basic fundamentals of the world and natural science. And I think she thinks technology beats all that.
Go ahead, Neil.
No, go ahead. Move on.
I was just going to reiterate what One Deck said, because I think he was slightly cut off there. What One Deck was saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you're looking at the shape of the Earth, okay, it's not a scientific endeavor, basically. So this woman, Sabrina, keep mentioning that we don't understand science. It's definitely a category error, which is what One Deck was saying. Thank you, One Deck.
The rationale of skepticism. Flat earthers are somewhat extreme.
I would not say the rationale of skepticism, because rationale is derivative of rational. I would say they just don't believe it.
They're actually...
I'd say he's right. We don't believe. We know that the Earth is flat via measurement.
Throwing out evidence that they could test themselves if they weren't so bad at science. But the underlying problem...
Sorry, Nathan. Even if you look at this now, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at how apparently the globe Earth was measured, you will be offered up examples like the Greeks measured it using elevation angles, to the sun off the surface of Earth, which is nothing to do with a Earth curve measurement, but this is what they offer up as a globe proof. Al-Biruni measuring the heights of mountains using elevation angles and depression angles from line of sight and surface level, which again is nothing to do with a curve measurement. So we've looked into all this, and it just annoys me that they sat here calling flat earthers and putting them into this all-in-one frying pan and ad hominem attacks, when if you look at what their so-called evidence is for their belief, it's all flat earth measurements that they'll give you. That's all you'll get off them.
Any more?
You just don't understand science.
Maybe we do.
Is much deeper because in most of modern science, the average person can't test evidence for themselves. This is why...
What does she mean, modern science? I mean, we've got the scientific method, haven't we? I mean, is it different versions of science or something? Please let me know if anybody can tell me about it.
The only thing I can think is technology.
Well, there's pseudoscience, isn't there, as well? Don't forget that kind of science exists.
Can you define that, Jin?
That's science purporting to be science, and it's not actually science.
Pretty close.
That's what pseudoscience is.
Yeah, pseudoscience is the claim of science that has not been through the scientific method. So by definition, if you've not been through the scientific method and you are claimed to be quote-unquote science, or, in this case, modern science, then by definition, it meets the criteria for pseudoscience if it's not been through the scientific method. Now, when they're talking about the shape, irritating, because Earth's aspect of flatness that we measure has sod all shape to it. But when they say the shape of Earth and then talk about testing evidence, evidence is proof. Evidence is what you use to draw a conclusion. You don't test it. That's a nonsense category error again. But it's using the word test, which in a scientific vocabulary means an actualization of a hypothesis. That's what a test is in science. You can't test an aspect or a shape as they're describing it. That's nonsense. But it's to create an illusion that Earth as a sphere, that's the shape that they believe they're standing on, has been empirically validated via tests. It hasn't. It's not science. It's maths or geography, not science. But they can lie to you with a magic word. Say, oh, well, we've done tests. What, you mean experiments proving things empirically? No, they haven't. But she's going to weasel word her way around it by suggesting that it's modern science. We're so close to the conclusion. Go ahead.
Sorry, Nathan. I thought Neil was jumping. Sorry about that, mate. They keep throwing this science and the evidence in there and things you can test. I'm looking forward, and I hope they try and present some scientific evidence to prove that the Earth's a globe. Because I'd love to hear what they come out with, or trying to come out with by proving it that way. I mean, that will be. I will look forward to that if that comes.
Well, One Deck, spoiler alert, One Deck. They don't even present anything in this video of proof of globe. Okay. I'll let you know now. Don't hold your breath.
The funny thing about that is, in fact, I forgot who the fuck it was. But it was some Greek with a name that's long, that's weird, like it was not Aristotle, but it was something that sounded like that. He just set up some sticks and he figured it out.
Yeah. So here we go. I brought this up a minute ago. This is one of their globe evidences about a Greek guy, apparently, who was measuring elevation angles using the surface of Earth, which is not an Earth curve measurement. It's an angle measurement, 2 straight lines, using the surface of Earth. Nothing to do. Now, this is how stupid he is. Yeah? Because he's now presenting this is his evidence of a globe, and he's describing how Earth's measured flat. And he's got.
I was just going to ask: is measurement evidence?
Yeah,
I believe it is. So, if anything, it's evidence of flat Earth.
So I've put it up on screen. Who wants to talk our way through what we've got on screen now? It's just talked about Aristophanes measuring the Earth with a stick and a shadow as his evidence from the Greeks.
The stick will be vertical. The Earth will have to be level because that's what we use Earth as, horizontal. And that's an angle to the sun from flat.
Yeah,
that's about
so
all
he's obtaining an elevation angle from the surface of Earth. Yeah, and it will have to be horizontal, level, flat, because you can only obtain an elevation angle from a horizontal baseline. You can't do it from a curved base. It's just it doesn't happen. So he's giving an example of using Earth's surface and measuring it flat. This is his globe proof, by the way.
Hold on a second. He's supposed to be. He said the guy with a long name, a Greek from thousands of years ago, and he's bringing flat Earth proof. What's wrong with him?
He couldn't get the name right. I think he said aerosol, didn't he, or something?
Yeah, but this is the problem. This is, like I said, if somebody just looking into this subject who's starting off, who's wondering about things, does a quick search, on Google and has a little look into things, how was the globe measured? This is what you'll get from the globe side, showing you how elevation angles are measured from the surface of Earth, which is not a globe measurement, as you can see on screen there.
Right. So what
vertical,
my panel are pointing
horizontal.
out... Sorry, go ahead, Wondick.
No, I'm done, Nathan, sorry.
Right, what my panel are pointing out for AsmonGold is on screen now. This is Aristophanes' stick in the ground with a shadow to form an angle. What's an angle? 2 straight lines meeting at a vertex with a degree after a little number that you can only acquire when measuring Earth flat. This is, it's not up for debate, a flat Earth measurement that AsmonGold is relying upon to suggest sphericity. Do you not realise that your stick and shadow is an elevation angle measurement? Only acquirable from a flat Earth, AsmonGold. So where you are trying to sound smart and suggest, oh, look how stupid these Looney Tunes flat earthers are. They don't know where they got their science from. Well, really? Well, you are utilising a flat Earth elevation angle measurement of a stick on the ground, forming an angle. This is a flat Earth only measurement. So, AsmonGold, is it the hard place or is it the rock? Is it, no, it's not an elevation angle to a flat Earth with a degree symbol with 2 straight lines, not one curved, AsmonGold. 2 straight lines meeting at a vertex. You're going to say no, in which case you don't have any basis to believe in a globe with, because your fundamental premise for a globe is a flat Earth measurement. So if you choose the hard place where you deny that this is a flat Earth prerequisite you're measuring with an angle, then you don't have any measurements. Alternatively, the rock, where you sink to your frickin' knees in acknowledgement of how fucking flat you appealed to Aristophanes' measurement for your globe belief. In which case, Earth is, this isn't up for debate, measured flat by you, AsmonGold. This is your standard. You require Earth be measured flat for your dumbass ball belief. Sorry, what was that? I've got my science acumen from Looney Tunes. You, AsmonGold, are a fuckwit. You've measured Earth flat, fuckwit. How do those apples taste? Looney Tunes science acumen.
Not sure how old this video is, or what, but what I was, this example here, there are some globe believers now realizing that this is actually flat Earth a measurement. People like Dave Triangle McKeegan, because I was asking for his globe proof. I asked him 8 times, and in the end, he said, one deck. What do you want me to do? Give you the Eratosthenes example, just so you can tell me that Earth's measured flat. So that comment tells me he realizes that this is not globe proof. He's cottoning on to it because he won't use it as a globe proof. He's a little bit wiser than this guy now.
Well, what is it then?
So, sorry?
If it's not globe proof, what's on screen is what you've just had Dave McKeegan say he's not going to talk about because he'd have to be welcome to flat Earth. But we've got this Dumbo Grebo appealing to this. Now, I don't want him to know what it isn't. If it's not globe proof, what is this Eratosthenes angle measurement to a flat surface? What is it then if it's not globe proof?
Flat proof.
This basically represents the entire elevation angle triangle, and this scale could be superimposed to think of yourself on the left end of the triangle, where you are looking at the sun, which is your line of sight, the line L, and the baseline is the horizontal baseline the observer is standing upon, the surface of the Earth, or sea level. I mean sea level.
Precisely.
It is actually proof of flat Earth, is what it is.
There it is.
Thank you.
Right.
And the right angle is the degree of the sun. That's the most important part.
Perfect. You said enough. I just want to conclude for AsmonGold's benefit. You have proved Earth is and can only be measured flat. Even when you're suggesting you live on a ball, you require Earth be measured flat. So what is this? This is what you appeal to, AsmonGold. It's a flat Earth only measurement. Earth is flat. Exactly how it will be and can only be and will always be measured. Even when you're suggesting that you've got ball proof after insulting me and everybody around me as having a science acumen from Looney Tunes. What a fuckwit. I mean, AsmonGold really is retarded. Was he dropped on his head? Because he's suggesting he's got globe proof from this flat Earth only evidence. That's idiotic. I'm done.
Yeah, he was dropped on his head and he bounced a few times just to make sure.
I don't want to be harsh to AsmonGold, but by the same token, he's just described by stereotype me having a science acumen from Looney Tunes and then appealing to a flat Earth only measurement. Yeah, you're going to get called a fuckwit. Yeah, just take it like a man.
That's what one deck is saying, though. When people look into it, this is what they get, and they jump on it as globe proof. Maybe they'll start looking into it now when they hear us respond to this.
Remember when he said that they don't believe it, referring to flat earthers, that they don't believe the globe. So that's a tacit affirmation that he believes in the globe, and what we are talking about are just facts. Just elevation angle measurements on the surface of the Earth, encompassing the entire Earth, right up until the GP of the celestial body.
Archimedes? No, it wasn't. Aristophanes? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, A or E. Yeah, exactly. So he just set up some sticks and he figured this out. So the funny thing about this is that this is actually one of the only ones that people probably could figure out. But they just don't.
I think it makes sense
What's the Bible verse? By professing themselves wise, they showed themselves to be stupid, or something like that.
They posed themselves to be wise, they became fools.
Yeah.
What's annoyed me here, though, like, you know, he's not even going into his so-called globe evidence, is it? Where he set up some sticks. Explain what he's doing if you know the story. Tell us about the linear distance from the well to wherever, Alexandria or wherever it was. Tell us about the elevation angle. Tell us step by step what happened. But you can't, can you? Because you don't know.
He doesn't know it.
I'll do it for him. They measured Earth flat, AsmonGold, with elevation angles to the sun. It was defined quite admirably by Flat Earther a minute ago when he gave the definition, paraphrased it, but he gave the definition of an elevation angle. Yeah. A line between you and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. That's what an elevation angle measurement is. In this case, your entire globe faith, whilst professing to be claimed to be smart, oh, we know all about it. All he did was set up a couple of sticks and measure Earth flat.
To identify the origin of this problem. And some scientists have actually studied this. They found that
Sorry, it showed Dunning-Kruger effect. That's psychology. They were demonstrable pseudoscientists, if you're going to suggest, as she just has, that this is scientific evidence. Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, what you're now finding is that you've got bullshitters in the field of globe, because this bullshitter has just suggested that Dunning-Kruger effect in a study is science. No. You think the psychology of Mr. Dunning and Mr. Kruger's effect that they invented is science? Wrong! Psychology is a demonstrable pseudoscience when professed to be a science, because it hasn't been through the scientific method. But she's leaning into this like it's modern science. She's a bullshitter. In order to take you away from how flat Earth is being mute, whoever's in G+ interrupting me in the middle of my bloody sentence, shut up. When you're using psychology to suggest that you've got science and calling it modern science, that just makes you a liar. Sabine Hosselenfeld is bullshitting her audience. And to take you away from the flat Earth evidence, in this case sticks and shadows and measurements of a flat surface level, she's going to psychology and calling it science. The true mark of a genuine globe-believing bullshitter. Go ahead.
Sorry, that might have been me there. I accidentally hit the button. But basically, touching on the psychology, the psychiatrists themselves admit that they don't use the scientific method. They have no methodology in diagnosing anyone. And that's from the documentary called Making a Killing. Check it out. Thank you.
the scientific literacy of flat earthers tends to be well below population average. And at the
I would have wait, are you telling me that flat earthers on average are not under, they don't know what science is? No, bro. Like,
oh my God.
What science has been gold?
He doesn't know. He hasn't got the slightest idea. He thinks it's how many potatoes you eat and how many teeth you lose.
Say it ain't true.
Right, why don't you go and find out the study and see what they studied and how they studied it, rather than just accepting at face value that which you've been presented by this bullshitting pseudoscience professor. That's what you've done, AsmonGold. It's absolutely pathetic. Your standard of acceptance is she said it, therefore it's true. Wow. Do you feel dumb? Because you are. You're a surface puke regurgitating. Yeah, it was definitely in the middle of that sentence.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Neil.
I was going to say, but I'm trying to figure it out. This is a flat Earth video. Why do they keep bringing up science? I do not get it.
Oh my God.
Same time, they're much more confident of their scientific knowledge than the average person. On top of this, we then get echo chambers in social media that...
What, that echo chamber's like, she says it, he laughs and says, is that true? Well, it must be true, you've said it. Projection. You've got to love it.
I have a question before you move on. Even if we knew nothing about science, so what? We're telling you Earth is measured flat.
Yeah, these people are maths deniers and geography deniers. I really like that. I want that to permeate the community through 2026. Calling our opponents geography deniers. You're just a geography denier. What do you mean science? What's this got to do with science? There's no cause and effect being studied here. We're not putting anything through the scientific method. You think Earth's a shape? Well, you're just stupid and a geography denier. Let's start putting it back at them like they put it at us. A science denier? Get lost. This is a category error by you. You're a geography denier.
Reinforce their misjudgment. The trouble is that these...
Sorry, Nathan.
Okay.
It's a joke because they keep throwing this science out there, science this, science that, and then you're waiting for the so-called scientific evidence of the shape of the Earth, which is in a category error. And then the one evidence they do show up is actually a measurement. Nothing to do with science. So they're all over the show.
Yeah, what about in the 80s? She blinded me with science. Remember that track?
Yeah, it's Thomas Dolby. You know what else Thomas Dolby wrote? He wrote a song called The Flat Earth.
Did he?
You never heard Thomas Dolby's Flat Earth song?
No.
Go and Google it.
Two issues, lack of knowledge and an inability to recognize this lack of knowledge, are bound to become increasingly widespread, simply because, unfortunately, scientific knowledge isn't heritable. We're born without knowing anything of modern science. We have to learn everything. And the more...
The pseudoscience that you presented with Dunning-Kruger, that's not science. You're just a witch.
Yeah, so what they're doing now is they're trying to make it out like they know what science is and we don't, so it gives them credibility. You understand? These people don't know what science is. We do. We're the credible ones. And because we know science and they don't, which they don't, they have pseudoscience, that gives them the authority. And they say Earth is a globe.
Yeah, back in 1985-86, Carl Sagan was concerned that the scientific method and science had become a religion and the scientists are not using the scientific method. And he was really concerned about that. And he said, we're being bamboozled. And if you carry a belief without confirmation and validation, then that's a mistake. There you go. Carl Sagan.
The more sophisticated science becomes, the more learning that requires.
No, you don't need to know a lot about science to understand that the Earth is round. I mean,
it's a category error where you're talking about a shape, a dimension, an aspect of Earth that we measure. Being round, that's not science. Being round. You don't need to know anything about science to know it's round. You're in a category error. You're an idiot.
You really don't. I mean, I understand what she's saying. She's saying that, like, the compounding expectations of, intelligence, you really don't need to know.
The compounding expectations of intelligence is what she was saying. Now, I think you've just made that up, AsmonGold. I don't think those words crossed her lips. I think you're just a twat. Like a bullshitting twat. You just made up a string of long-sounding words to make yourself seem intelligent and like you understood what she was talking about. Because those words didn't cross her lips. So no, I don't think so, AsmonGold. I think you're just a shit for brains bullshitter.
Is that him sniffing his own farts, Nathan? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he's saying you don't need to know a lot about science. Let's just translate AsmonGold. When he says, quote, you don't need to know a lot about science, what does that mean? It means AsmonGold doesn't know anything about science. That's what that actually means.
A lot of this shit. You don't really need to know you don't need to know the periodic table. You don't need to know.
Is the periodic table science? No. That's not cause and effect reasoning based on the observation of natural phenomena, the formulation of a scientific prediction, that's a hypothesis, and the actualization of said hypothesis, that's an experiment. That's natural science, aka the scientific method. The periodic table, you think that's science? What's the word? Fuckwit! That's not science, you fuckwit. So when you say you don't need to know about science, you mean I, that's AsmonGold, don't know anything about science and think it's the periodic table. You're a fuckwit, a vapid moron, a buffoon, an idiot, an imbecile. The periodic table isn't science. But you're saying you don't need to know a lot about science, you don't need to know a lot about the periodic table. What a clown. You sound stupid, AsmonGold. Do you know why? Because you are stupid. You're a surface puke regurgitating moron. You listened to this woman and went, yeah, okay, I can understand English. Therefore, what she says is correct without any further research whatsoever, without knowing the definitions of the words she actually used, by inventing a few long words that she didn't say and suggesting that that's what she meant. You're a moron, AsmonGold. A complete and utter fool.
He's swimming in pseudoscience soup there, ladies and gentlemen. Pseudoscience soup.
Know any of this. Like, I mean, now, it's not that it wouldn't be useful at all in any circumstance. It's just that...
Wouldn't be useful in any... It's not that it wouldn't be useful. The advancement that humanity has experienced, in most instances, has been as a direct consequence of people following the scientific method. That's what we benefit from. Empirical outcomes for a phenomena that was, until that point, unknown in terms of its cause. That's what science has done. It has advanced humanity, medicine, the well-being of many millions of people. It's not like it doesn't benefit. You're a fucking idiot, AsmonGold. You haven't got the slightest clue how science has benefited us, because you don't know what it is.
In an average person's life, it's not really going to come into relevance in terms of a functional way. And here's the...
So, like, if you were lost at sea and you wanted to find out where the fuck you were so you didn't die, it wouldn't have any functional relevance. What, Earth being flat and measured as such? Yeah, it absolutely would. You'd need elevation angle measurements to find out your location and use maps so that you could navigate. So it's fundamentally critical to not dying, you, fuckwit. What about flying a plane with respect to surface level, your altitude measured from surface level, and your altitude, your pitch, with respect to horizontal? What about flying at a certain given level dictated to you by ground control when they tell you to ascend? That would also require calculations from a flat plane for the ascent. Or descend towards the flat plane you're going to land on, also using trig and calculations from a flat plane. Are these not having any influence on our life, generally speaking? Not that important. They're critical to not dying, you complete and utter fuckwit. I'm kind of getting in the mood to take over, so I'll try and step off and let the panel take over a bit more. Pipe up a bit more, panel. I'll try and step off.
Here's really the reason, right? Is that you will not remember information that you don't use.
So what? You don't know what science is, you can't remember, and you're justifying it by saying because you don't use science, you can't remember what the fuck it is?
Unless somebody is using this information regularly...
That's bullshit. I've never gone through the scientific method and proven a hypothesis. I don't need to. Does it mean that I've forgotten how it works because I don't use science on a daily basis? This is, fuckwit logic from a fuckwit. Now, I can absolutely remember what science and the scientific method is. I don't have to use it daily to know what it is to humiliate a fuckwit who doesn't know what it is and probably never learned. Now, it's not that you've forgotten, it's just you don't know what it is. It's not that I, because I'm not using it daily, will suddenly forget what the scientific method is. I won't. Because it's acutely aware to me that idiots use the words of science for its empiricism that's being suggested when words like experiment, or in the case of Sabine, because I can remember the word she's used, test, suggest, in the confines of a discussion about science as she's presenting it. Test, in her vernacular, means experiment, the actualization of a hypothesis, or hypothesis test is what she means when she's talking about science. Oh, but it's only the modern science of Dunning-Kruger, a demonstrable pseudoscience, when Sabine Hoslenfelder lies to fuckwits who don't know any better and are too stupid to realise they're being lied to by her, because words have come out of her mouth, therefore she must be true. Is that right, you ask? Well, how the fuck would you know unless you went and looked into it, you complete retard? You wouldn't, but you took it as read anyway, didn't you? That's because you're, a fuckwit, AsmonGold. Now, I don't need to perform science daily to know that you haven't got the slightest clue what it is, how it's benefited humanity, or in this case, how it's being used to lie to you with. I know all those things without performing a single experiment ever.
They're not going to remember it. They're just going to forget. Like, how many of you guys probably fucking
Like, I'm now going to detail the scientific method. Step 1, observe a natural phenomena. That's something occurring in nature that you want to know the cause of. Step 2, formulate a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis, where you formulate an if and then statement, with the if statement being your supposed cause of the effect you observed at step 1, alongside it being a null, a zero difference result where your presumed cause does not cause the effect. Step 3, actualize the hypothesis. That is to perform a hypothesis test, where you vary and manipulate that which you presume will cause the effect and is real and is the independent variable in your scientific prediction. The hypothesis test upon actualization will either prove the cause of the effect you observed at step 1 or prove that you got it wrong, validating the null hypothesis. Validation of either the null or the alternative hypothesis is the only outcome, therefore an empirical methodology for establishing the cause of an effect. Have I forgotten? I didn't do it today. No, what we're listening to is the ramblings of a fuckwit named AsmonGold. A retard. A fool. An idiot. A man who thinks that because you don't do something, you'll forget about it. No, definitely not AsmonGold. I won't forget this either. This being you, the fuckwit, trying to pretend to be smart when you're not. You're a dumbass.
You go to school and you forget your locker code over, summer break. Or
let's just clarify what AsmonGold's saying. I'm stupid. I was dropped on my fucking head and can't remember my own locker code. I can remember my phone number from 1983. Does that mean that I'm like you? No, it just means I've got a good memory for numbers. But you're a fuckwit, probably dropped on your head by your careless mother, and you can't remember your own fucking locker code over a summer. Don't stereotype the entire world based on how stupid you are, AsmonGold. Just because you're a stupid retard and can't remember a fucking locker code over a summer period doesn't mean that everybody's like you. It just means you're a fucking retard and you can't remember your locker code for a summer. That makes you stupid. Not me. I understand what science is and how it's being used by people like Sabine who are considerably smarter than you to lie to you, because they know how dumb you are. They definitely know how stupid you are, and they definitely know that you'll be taken in when they lie to you about science, when presenting demonstrable, self-defined pseudoscience in the form of psychology, when she describes Dunning-Kruger, puts it on a graph. That's soaked up and gobbled down by retards like you can't remember their own fucking locker code.
I can still remember my number from 1970. Home number, that is. Home one.
Yeah. It's just stereotyping everybody based on his own stupidity level. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It really is just connecting categories. Like, I see the stars so I can science them, and calling out and connecting that with the idea of a globe. So you see stars, globe, you see rocks, globe. It really is hammering home how much of it is just conditioning and programming.
You see elevation angle measurements from a flat earth, globe.
over Christmas break, something like that. Yeah, for sure. You forget shit that you don't use. I mean, yeah, but it's basic as fuck. People don't know the periodic table. I bet probably less than 1% of people could name more than 20 elements on the periodic table. Less than 1% of adults in America could name more than 30 elements on a periodic table.
Who cares? What gives a shit?
Time in the middle of the 20th century or so, we reached a point where modern science...
See, y'all don't know how retarded people are. Like, see, you never been... Oh, man, you guys got no...
I know how retarded you are. You can't string a sentence together. You're struggling right now.
No idea. You got no idea.
Just stopped being comprehensible to anyone without a special degree, and this is still the case. I don't really understand how CRISPR works. I've no idea what Teichmuller theory is. I don't know how phones work, and I yet have to figure out how to properly fertilize our lawn. There's just too much knowledge in the world to learn it all, and unfortunately no one has yet developed a pill for quantum mechanics.
Sorry, what the hell does this have to do with anything? It's about as non sequitur as his last statement. So what? Because you can't remember the things you've just listed off that you say you don't know anything about, but you can pronounce them. Therefore, at the very least, you know how to pronounce them. So therefore, you're a liar. To say I don't know anything about quantum mechanics, you're like, well, you've just described quantum mechanics in terms of what it is by title. Therefore, to say you don't know anything about it is a complete lie. It's like you wouldn't know the words for it. You don't know what you don't know.
But you don't actually need to learn any physics to see that
You haven't detailed any physics.
the Earth isn't flat. Even
Sorry, that's maths. An aspect of geometry that we'd measure you could put in geography. But that's not science. She's just a demonstrable liar, isn't she? Using this magic of using the words of science to pretend that when they suggest we've got sphericity, that it's proven empirically and has been tested. No, it's a measurement that you don't have, because do we need to go back to Aristophanes and his flat Earth elevation angle measurements? Do we need to define what an elevation angle measurement is so you know that it isn't science, you pair of clowns?
even leaving aside that it requires you to believe in this huge conspiracy.
No, it doesn't. We covered this yesterday. No, I don't have to believe in anything beyond what you've presented for your measurements for your belief in a ball. You've presented Aristophanes, sticks and shadows. That's the only evidence that's been laid out so far. We've got Dunning-Kruger and graphs and statistics. Those aren't evidence for anything to do with Earth's shape that you profess it to have. The aspect that was measured in one piece of evidence that you did present was sticks and shadows, and it was flat. That's it. That's all we've got. That's not science.
Flat Earth ideas have a much bigger problem. It's that you can't do anything with them.
What, like fly a plane in flight level? Like measure the surface with surveying, with rise over run? Like navigate the oceans with elevation angles? Like describe the ground rising and falling with respect to sea level? You can't do anything with flat Earth ideas. Everything we've ever done with respect to Earth took flat Earth measurements to do it, Sabine. Why, are you some sort of cretin? Have you not looked at what we actually do when we measure Earth flat? Clearly not. You think flat Earth is about conspiracy. Hence my frustration when people use conspiracy in the discussion, when there's stone cold facts about how Earth gets measured on the table, waiting to be discussed, in lieu of talking about conspiracies.
You can't use them to do as much as predict.
You can do a lot of things with flat Earth theory. You can make
But theory comes after the scientific method. Theory is not a measurement of Aristophanes' sticks and shadows. Do you think that the measurement process that you've presented for your evidence that you thought proved the ball, that's an elevation angle measurement of a stick and a shadow, is a theory? Again, it's just got to be summarised by me, hasn't it? AsmonGold's a fuckwit. What we've got on screen is the only standard that you presented as evidence to believe in a ball. It's a flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement. This is not going to form a theory. There's certainly no flat Earth theory divisible from this elevation angle measurement. It's just a measurement of Earth and its surface being flat. It's the only way you can describe the shadow with an angle to the sun. Without it being flat, you're in that very hard place where you don't have any measurements to base your ball faith on. The rock being the flat Earth measurement that you'll sink to your knees in acknowledgement of just how flat Earth must be measured. But where are we going to form theory with this? Yeah, we're not. You're in a demonstrable category error because you're a fuckwit who doesn't know what science is. So when you present maths and flat Earth measurements suggesting they prove your ball, you're going to say that theory from flat Earth is what, useful for X? You don't know what any of these words mean, AsmonGold. Now, maybe Sabine knows what these words mean, but she's using them to lie to you. So you've only got to be of this level of intelligence for her to get past your defences very, very easily, and for you to nod along in agreement with a suggestion that we're doing something that will form theory as flat earthers. No. The measurement that I will now lean into to prove beyond all doubt that Earth is flat is the measurement that you used here. It's called an elevation angle measurement. That's your standard that I'm now using to prove how Earth is measured flat. Because it is. By who? You. That's who. You measure Earth flat to believe you're on a stupid ball, And then you're going to talk about theory like you got a clue about science. We've already established that you've forgotten more about science than you ever learned in school. You can't even remember your own locker code. But you're going to start professing to what theory is? Dumbass. Keep your dumbass mouth shut. You don't know what you're talking about.
Everybody think that you're stupid. It's simple.
I know that you're stupid, AsmonGold, based on the words that you've used here. That's not questionable. You can't even remember your own fucking locker code, and you're talking about how stupid flat earthers are. So you think that, what, you get a free pass because you've self-confessed to being a fucking retard who can't remember a few numbers? For a locker, suddenly you get to pour scorn on me. No, you do not, fuckwit. I'll call you stupid. You don't get to say the same about me based on a theory I don't have when I look at this measurement you've presented of a flat earth. That doesn't mean you get free rein just because you can't remember some numbers to call me stupid. How dare you, AsmonGold? Who the fuck do you think you are, you abject clown? I've described you as having been dropped on your head by your careless mother because you can't even remember a locker code. Meanwhile, I absolutely can define on a live stream what science and the scientific method is, how it's used, and how somebody, in this instance Sabine, more intelligent than yourself, is lying to your dumb ass using the words of science, not the scientific method. Do you think Dunning-Kruger have put anything through the scientific method? No. Do you think the graphs are going to form theory? No. Do you think this flat earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement you appeal to from Eratosthenes is going to form a theory? No. What we can surmise from all of this information is that you, AsmonGold, are a fucking retard. That's what we can surmise from this. That would be the words you've used.
Yeah, you can do a lot. And you can make YouTube content for people?
No. You can survey Earth. You can perform elevation angle measurements and make a globe with them. With a flat Earth, you can fly in straight and level flight. You can measure your altitude from sea level. You can measure sea level. You can measure altitude angles, circles of equal elevation, rise and fall with respect to a run that you measure in surveying. In fact, every measurement of Earth ever will require it be flat. But you think that all we can do with flat Earth is make YouTube content? No, that's the game that we play, where idiots who surround me talk about conspiracies, so that's what you can summarise flat Earth being. A series of conspiracies that are used to make YouTube content. No, you're wrong. Flat Earth is used to fly, navigate, sail, and survey the Earth that we actually dwell atop. That's what flat Earth's used for. We measure Earth flat.
I feel like, yeah, bro, like there's a lot you can do with it. Man, if you're really retarded, you can just master it. Yeah, Newton says this apple fell on me. It's got to be gravity. My word.
All right, so we now got a new standard from your chat, not from you. So from your chat, we've got a falling apple. Yeah, that will be falling in the vertical, perpendicular to a plane of reference, in a downward vector. Now, I'm not going to suggest that I've forgotten this because I haven't used a downward vector for something dropping. Oh, I just did. Meanwhile, if you're a stinky, dirty grebo farting in your own stench, then you'll realise that gas expands in all directions, defying this downward gravitational vector perpendicular to a plane of reference. In other words, for you to bullshit about all things moving towards the centre of a sphere Earth, you'll mathematically describe it perpendicular to a flat Earth plane. Because you don't have one unless you've got perpendicularity to a plane for the vertical aspect of your downward vector that your chat's given you. So even your chat requires Earth be measured flat to make an out-of-date statement about a Newtonian gravity where all things tend towards the ground. Look up at the clouds, fuckwit, and know how idiotic your chat is. This out-of-date 110-year-old rhetoric was superseded by a bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry, known as bent space-time, invented by Einstein. Not that you can put time in a little bag and pass it to me. It's not real, it's conceptual. But that's what gravity is for people who aren't educated beyond a high school level. Now, you don't know that, do you, AsmonGold? You forget your own fucking locker number!
Work doesn't require me to be smart, but if it does, I can easily learn it. Yeah, people...
No. In order to be smart, you just need to learn stuff, which you didn't do. Now you're getting called a fuckwit by a flat earther called Nathan Oakley, embarrassing you with facts about how you've presented not one, but two flat earth prerequisite measurements. One being an elevation angle measurement. That is to say, on screen now is what you appeal to from Eratosthenes. Two, you've presented a downward vector with respect to a plane of reference for an out-of-date Newtonian gravity. That's what you've done. You've measured Earth flat twice. Now, in order to overcome your own stupidity, you'd need to learn stuff. You haven't, you're just a dumbass.
People are not going to learn things that they don't want to use or they're not going to use. Most people, you think about it, right?
Think about every single aviator who's ever flown you anywhere, AsmonGold, and how they'd unequivocally need to know their height off surface level with an altimeter, or how to use the horizontal to remain pitch up with respect to the horizontal, or how they're instructed from ground control to fly at a given flight level, parallel with sea level. These are flat earth measurements that stop dumbasses like you don't know what they're talking about from dying when in flight. If you get lost at sea, you can find your position on a map. That's navigation. By way of, actually the same angles that you appeal to. The same exact thing. The process that you appeal to suggest sphericity would also be the flat earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements for circles of equal altitude. That's areas of equal elevation, a flat plane, to find where the fuck you are and not die, AsmonGold. So these flat earth prerequisite measurements are absolutely critical in day-to-day life. For not dying! Do you understand me, fuckwit?
How old is modern science? 500 years?
Sorry, you're just going to make up a number and call modern science like it's something real. No, what you've been duped with is pseudoscience by your compadre on the video, this lying witch who's decided to bullshit you with pseudoscience. Psychology's a pseudoscience. Dunning-Kruger effect? Think that went through the scientific method, do you, fuckwit? No, this modern science is something you've gobbled down whole from a bullshitter. And now you're regurgitating it like, how long's modern science been around? Oh, no, I'll pluck a number out of the air. 500 years. Now, that's about how long they've been bullshitting to you about being on a ball for. Who gave it you, the ball? With flat earth measurements being the basis to create it. It was the Roman Catholic Church, that's who. About 500 years ago, as you've plucked a number out your ass for modern science. No, modern bullshit started about 500 years ago. It was given to you by the Roman Catholic Church.
Something like that? Let's say 500 years. How old are people? People are like millions of years old, right?
No, people get to about 100. Fucking retard.
The current version, the current patch, I'd say it's like 4 million years, something like that. And
just make up numbers, I would. Why not? No need to do any research. I'll just pluck a figure out my ass. People have been around for about, I don't know, 2 billion years. I mean, well, why not? I'll just make up a number. Who cares?
So validate that?
12,000, yeah.
Validate it? Sorry, are you suggesting that AsmonGold shouldn't pluck numbers out of his ass? He should go out and investigate and validate the shit that he speaks? No, he's a surface puke regurgitating retard. If he's heard it said once, it's true.
Let's say it's 100,000. And 300K? Maybe I'm a bit off. Let's say 200K.
Just make it up. Have a massively wild scale. Why not? What a fucking idiot.
So 200K, 500 years. You think about how small of a fraction that is of the time.
I'm starting to lose my temper a little bit with this guy because he's so stupid. And it represents the world that we live in, right? The powers that should not be, the algorithms that are presented to us by YouTube, they want AsmonGold to be your source of education, right? I'm talking to my audience, right? Not really my audience. I'm censored from view. Nobody's watching me, right? Why? Well, they are being furrowed towards AsmonGold so that you can be severely dumbed down by this, by AsmonGold and his stupid, retarded notions. That's the purpose of giving AsmonGold 4.5 million subscribers. Yeah, The society wants us to be stupid. There's no other explanation I can muster.
Nathan, I think you're on. Hold on.
The thing is, though,
you're onto
Nathan,
something, because they make us like, we're the left that ones are flat earthers. We're retarded. We don't know anything. We don't know what science is. We laugh at the pictures from youth up of a boat going over the edge. But really what they're doing is dumbing down society like him. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, like, he's talking about this, time, age of people, and 100 years. That's time. Now he's going to need a horizontal plane for time, because that's how time is measured. It's the angle to the sun. So there's another flat Earth proof that he's talking about. Time. Yeah. I know it sounds stupid. You've got sundials. You've got time. That's how the hours are measured. That's how our time is measured, by the elevation angle to the sun. So there you go. There's another flat Earth for you.
There's one right on screen.
You're thinking about like fucking nobody like people's brains haven't evolved to be able to pick this stuff up. You can't imagine that people can understand stuff like this, because everybody always acts like people are anything. People like to act like a person is more than a monkey, and it's a little bit more, but not that much more.
What? I'm not a monkey.
Is this guy normal, or is he a retard?
All right, and so you have plenty of people that behave like gorillas. They act like gorillas all the time.
Yeah, so because people behave like gorillas, they are monkeys. Superb logic.
So, and they even do the same thing with each other, right? They even act like, well,
Say again.
Just saying, how many followers has this guy got? He's absolutely a lunatic.
4.23 million.
They walk around like they do this shit all the time.
What's going on here, Nathan? You should have 4.2 million.
No, I mean, I'm not in any expectations in terms of me ever having the same level of support as AsmonGold, but it would be nice to actually cover the mortgage and electricity bill, which I often struggle to do because of the limited engagement I get from an audience when you can't find me if you type my name in, or you type an exact title of my video and it brings up a load of Simon Dan videos. I mean, that's not very fair in my opinion, but that's why I appeal to people like AsmonGold to put my link in his video if he's to respond to me. Now, you might say, well, you've called him a retard and said he's been dropped on his head. Yeah, he suggested that I've got a Looney Tunes acumen in science. What do you want? It's tit for tat in that regard. But I'll still direct my audience to AsmonGold and let them point out to him that at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube algorithmic bots, or indeed by AsmonGold himself. But in terms of...
I'm talking about the valuable information that's being put out. It should be reversed. What valuable information has this guy put out since we started watching his video?
None.
Nothing.
None whatsoever.
Flat Earth measurement.
Oh, yes, he did. You're right. Sorry, I'll correct Neil, and thank you, OneDeck, for pointing that out. No, he gave us this, him personally, not his chat, who used perpendicular to a plane of reference for a downward vector that's out of date 110 years ago. But this was what AsmonGold actually gave us. He gave us this flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement performed by Eratosthenes, whose name he couldn't pronounce.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be representing a spherical Earth. So he's given information that represents flat Earth, but he's getting 4 million people. There's something very wrong with this world.
Yeah, like I just said, the dumbing down of society. That's what we're witnessing in that regard. But yeah, please do let AsmonGold know. We are going to have to cover his video again. We've done an hour and a half already, so we've done a full hour on this, and we were only 15 minutes through. We've managed to cover another 7 minutes. There's another, 14 minutes left to go, which is unfortunate because we may never get to the end of it. But we'll do a part 3. I mean, I do want to get all the way through this video. I think it's worthy, just so that it's, giving at the very least Lenny's 100 quid's worth. Because I will be paying my mortgage with it. So I'm so grateful I want to get to the end of the video. But in any event, if I'm going to round out at this point, I might as well say if you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hit me up on PayPal and Patreon and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, a massive thank you again to today's Discord and G+ panels, and I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If Earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.